You're listening to the ASOTU CON Sessions by Effectv, recorded live in Philly.
Welcome to ASOTU CON Sessions by Effectv. This is Kyle Mountsier, and I'm hanging out with my good buddy, Jarrod Kilway. Jarrod, thanks for joining with me today.
Thank you, brother.
Dude,
appreciate it.
You have gone through a little bit of a transition recently.
A little bit, yeah.
Out of the dealer world into the doc side. How's it feel to be back? Because you were with Vin Solutions for a long time, and so now you're back in that industry partner world where everybody looks at your LinkedIn like it doesn't matter, right?
Nope, not at all. You go from zero to hero real quick,
right,
then you go right back to zero.
So, yeah, isn't that crazy? It's like, is this your first industry event since being outside of the dealer?
It is. This is the first time out since being in the dealer side. So
yeah, so all the industry partners aren't after your badge anymore. Is that right?
No, everybody you thought were your real good friends, you don't talk to them anymore. Imagine that.
They're like, these guys, all they wanted, they're killing me.
They just wanted a piece of time. That's
so tell me this. So you've been in Philly now for about 2 days. Is that right?
Yep.
How's your experience been so far? Have you done any Philly things, or have you just been like in the hotel and at the ASOTU CON stuff?
We went out to, we had dinner last night, but that was fun. We got to go down on the 2nd Street, so got to see the old school Philly.
What'd you eat?
Shoot, I couldn't even tell you.
We
We had some good wine and good food and good company, so that's all that matters.
There you go. That's awesome. So you are now with a company called Konect.ai, and I think the first thing, like everybody on the second half of that word, kind of in the auto industry, kind of like got that little like crick. It was like anything that says AI or automation, or it's kind of this like big buzzword that's been out there. So calm our fears a little bit. Talk to us about exactly what AI means to you all as a company, and how that's being utilized to serve customers.
Yeah, AI, I was the same way. I was on one of these here at NADA 5 years ago talking about how AI was the worst thing ever. So I was that guy. That's the funny part about it.
That's great.
But AI really, it's not as scary as it really is. It's the unknown.
Yeah.
It's the fear of the unknown of, okay, what's going to change for my process? What's this going to change for my staff? What is that change going to be? And really, how much work am I going to have to do as a dealer? That's the big piece. So what do I have to do? What do I have to have my team do? Those are the unknowns, and I think that's what really distracts a lot of people from really taking a deeper look at it. But when they see it, you find out they're like, oh my gosh, this is great. This is actually just a compliment to my team. It's not to replace my BDC team or BDC director, so internet people don't have to worry about it. We're not here as a replacement. We're just here as a compliment to make you better.
Well, so zoom out just a little bit, because you've had a lot of part to play in some really impressive dealership operations, bringing technology in to enhance and support as opposed to take over. Like, I think about the work you did with Jermaine to bring in a retailing solution that didn't replace anyone, it just made them more effective.
Correct.
What have you Effectv? See how I threw that in? Little sponsor.
Connected.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, so what have you done to in your past? What have you seen is like the best mode to move a dealership from like, oh, that technology is going to replace or harm the overall experience, to that technology is actually going to enhance and engage not just our customers, but also our employees?
Correct. Yeah. So there's really 3 different, components to it. And I think about what was the biggest time suck that we had at Jermaine. There's what's such a manual task base that you can automate. And it comes down to really the exciting thing joining Konect was the acquire component. I remember the day, you remember the days sitting in the BDC and you're getting 1,000 KBB ICO leads.
Yeah.
And it just, as a BDC rep, that takes the wind out of your sails every time you see one, because you know it's going to go against your pay. And most likely, it's because your used car manager would not give your salesperson a value for the trade.
Right.
So your salesperson's sight unseen trade process is go onto the website and put the customer's information in there to get a value to give the customer.
Yep.
And other dealerships are using your tool to do the exact same thing as well. So you're trying to filter through such a volume to try and find those one or two
So that's because that's just a pain point. Like that's a general pain point that I think our industry experiences for so many people that get, especially trade leads from large third-party aggregators that are the reason why they get them because they've done such a good job at branding their overall value, and it's not just KBB, but there's others, Carfax and all of those, and so for dealers. That's a pain point for their employees, whether it be the part that it's affecting their pay or even just the way that their workload goes and the way that the communication with the customers goes. So when you looked at that as an inefficiency or a pain point for especially employees, how are you overcoming that pain point and not just like plugging in tech for the heck of tech, but like really creating employee efficiency?
Yeah, so that is one of our focuses. We have that integration with KBB, and we're working on it with AccuTrade here in the soon future because it doesn't matter, as you said, the platform. It's still going to be an issue no matter where you go. Mm-hmm. But in essence, our job is to get contact. We want to engage them just via SMS to try and get that person to engage. Once the engagement happens, we follow the language of that provider, whether it's when can you come in for 15 minutes and have your final offer evaluated or your vehicle evaluated, whatnot. And we utilize that same language to make it a real natural conversation. What we find is the people who are engaging are the ones who are actually wanting to sell their vehicle. So you're filtering out of 1,000 leads, you may have 400 that are actually going to engage with the AI, talk back and forth with it. And out of that, we're scheduling appointments for both phone calls as well as in-person visits. And a lot of times it's a live call transfer right there on the spot too.
Wow.
So it's
what I'm hearing from you is like the people that actually want to sell their car are ready to engage. We just haven't done a good job as an industry at engaging them in a human way. And now that we're moving them to a place that's that's safe, a space that's safe. Look at my words, right? That you really get the opportunity to connect with them, and that connection happens.
And we don't prejudge them. We don't prejudge, which is the biggest piece as well as the industry is. We have this kind of
that
black eye.
That 05 Focus we're never gonna buy. Right?
Great story, I'll tell you. Behind it as I look at all these conversations every day. Like that's my morning routine as I jump in the platform. Okay, what happened overnight? What happened yesterday?
I love it.
What are the cool conversations? And there's one and it sticks out and I use it when I talk to stores. I use it when I talk to partners. There was one and it puts me back into the dealer days when I was a BDC rep and when you were there, it'll hit you hard. Somebody did a KBB lead on a 04 GMC Sierra 1500 with like 100 something thousand miles on it. KBB offered $10,000 for the valuation of the vehicle. No problem. Well, the customer engages and says, no way. I at least need 15 for this to even make it worthwhile. So take a time out there. So we're $5,000 swing on a value. Every BDC rep, internet person in the industry.
Thanks, let us know if anything changes, right?
Either do that or they just go mark the lead lost or mark the lead bad.
Right.
What our tool does a little different is, hey, just for confirmation, we're talking about year, make, model, vehicle, correct. So we do the reaffirmation on the vehicle through AI. Customer said yes. At that point in time, hey, sometimes people miss things when they're inputting the vehicle into systems. When's a great time to jump on a call so we can reevaluate your vehicle together? Right now, perfect. Live call transferred on the phone. Talked to the store later on the day. I was like, hey, what happened with that? He goes, we went back over the evaluation. He forgot to click four-wheel drive. When the four-wheel drive got clicked, the value was at 16.2 from the valuation. Nice. The guy showed up the next day, sold that store his truck. So pause for a second, take a time out of how many opportunities and experiences.
Are we just losing as an industry?
Because
we don't ask the right questions.
Correct. And it's not even we don't ask the right questions. Our teams in place don't have the bandwidth and volume to keep up.
Yeah.
So rather than overloading them with Billy Bob at billybob.com or some 555 phone number, let us take and engage them. Continue to run your process. We're there to help you get the engagements, but let us take that piece on for you and make your life easier.
I love it. I think it's a great solve for our industry. Well, I want to get a little bit away from that. So you've been in the industry for quite some time. You've seen ebbs and flows. You've been through technology shifts, through market shifts, and you've seen the way that dealers have handled that. What's one thing that you're seeing as you talk to dealers, that dealers are really attacking the market right now with? What are you seeing like the majority of dealers go after at this moment that you're really excited that they are doing?
It's a lot of people are starting to open up their eyes, and a lot of dealers are starting to at least ask questions on how to figure it out. Kramer and I figured it out at Jermaine, and it was really successful. So I'm excited to see more people try and figure it out, but it's the service drive to sales process. It's a huge opportunity with everything from shortages, from inventory for both new cars and used. It's an opportunity to, one, keep in contact with your customers while they're in for service, build that loyalty, build that reputation, and make them aware of what's going on. But two, it's the ability to acquire inventory.
Yeah.
And sell new cars.
I'm seeing that too, and I think it's a necessary part because it creates that flywheel of engagement with our customers.
Absolutely. So a lot of people are thinking of it. They're talking about it. You hear a lot of people actually here that have been talking about it as well, trying to figure out what does that process look like? How can we clearly define it? What are the bumpers that I need to set up before I can just try and plug people in there?
Yep.
So no, it's really exciting for that because I think that's the next evolution of it.
Awesome. Well, it was cool. Well, Jarrod, thanks so much for hanging out with us here on ASOTU CON Sessions by Effectv, and congrats on your move to Konect, and look forward to chatting with you again sometime soon.
Definitely, brother. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this ASOTU CON session by Effectv. If you want more content like this, you can check out our other podcasts. We have a daily show called The Automotive Troublemaker, Monday through Friday. Here on podcast, also live streamed on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. We also have a long-form podcast called Auto Collabs. And if you just want to go a little deeper into this community, you should sign up for our regular email. We put our heart and soul into it. You can get it for free by going to asotu.com. We'll see you next time.